Hello and welcome to Asian Media Network. I'm Miley, your host. Today I am so excited to co-host the first episode of the Women Are Earth talk series hosted by the International Women's Celebration with one of my sisters from the organization.
Thank you, Mai. My name is Charmel de Cruz, and today we have prepared a special show for you. Number one, we have a very important speaker, and of course, an important topic which affects every woman in this special stage of their life. This is menopause.
And this topic is just one of the preview of the upcoming exciting Women Health and Wellness event take place on Sunday, May 4 at Saigon Center in Chandler, Arizona.
And of course, that's a free event, Mai, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. here in Chandler, Arizona. We have prepared for you special games, fun activities, and of course, experts who are going to speak. They will have demos and a fun-filled afternoon for all of you women.
And we have an incredible list of speakers that day. One of us is here with us on this talk show today. She is a certified menopause specialist, a holistic health coach, and a radiology technologist, as well as the founder of the Girl in Red, a platform that educates women from menstrual cycle to menopause.
Please welcome Ms. Lisa Vasquez from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, Lisa, and welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you here with us.
Hi, Miley. Hi, Charmel. Thank you for having me today.
How are you today?
I'm very excited. I'm so excited to be welcomed into your community, coming to Arizona for the women's wellness event that you're hosting. This is I've never been to Arizona. I live in Las Vegas.
Wow, you know what,
Very
Lisa?
excited.
A lot of people, when they heard that we have a menopause specialist coming in town to talk about this, all of us excited and a lot of women excited to meet you. So be ready.
I'm excited. I am so excited. Thank you. Can't wait to thank everyone.
Excited to meet you, Lisa.
Yeah. So awesome.
Thank you, love.
So let's start by go into the topic for today. So Lisa, can you share with us what inspired you to get into women's health and the creation of the Girl in the Red? How is that start?
Oh, it all started when I 18 years old, I entered the School of Radiology as a technologist. And as I, graduated at 20, I became a technologist and I went into women's breast health, specializing in mammography. So back then, mammography was not really big. I mean, a lot of women were not coming in all the time back in the beginning of the 80s. And so at that point, I'm learning mammography. The rooms were not as active as X-ray was. And so all of a sudden, in 1986, one of the presidents, his wife, puts their mammogram on the screen. Because prior to that, we're just trying to get the word out, educating, making the awareness, breast cancer, but it still wasn't active in the Department of Radiology. After that mammogram came out, people started calling and coming in, and it just opened up a whole new river flowing. And with that, here I am, a 20-year-old woman. Women had to be 50 years old at the time to get a mammogram. So women, I'm learning to look beyond, because they're teaching me things that I never even heard, you know what I mean, as a woman, because they've traveled the journey. They're already 50. So as they expanded my mind and how this road's going to look, I studied everything there was to be in breast health. I became a breast health specialist by Educare. This was a really great program. It's made for nurses, but I was accepted into it, and you navigate patients through challenges in the medical system, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a coaching program, actually. So that came in 2003, and it's the expansion. So when you grow up as a medical health kid is what I call myself, you're surrounded in your family because you're there all day, right? 8 hours a day. It's all doctors, surgeons, technologists, nurses. And so the education was just extremely, you just want to absorb it all. So anyway, with breast cancer, breast health, as I grew into the field, now I'm starting to hear different stories. So this is when, like 1990, the hormone episode was out back then, when things were not going so well. They took them off the shelf, brought them back, all these different things that started transitioning. So it's hormones and the breast cancers. And so when you're looking through radiology, you see a lot of disease and destruction, things broke and things that are, so you grow with this development as I'm growing, but I want to know why. Why do they get those stomach aches? Why is this happening? The women, we have a history sheet. And with just that one history sheet, when I welcome you into the room, I'm interviewing you, your questions, but we can hit on one question and it opens up a whole world of a moment of conversation. Women just teach me all day. I taught them, they taught me. I go get more answers. I come back in. I learned all my Spanish and radiology there to speak medically in Spanish. I grew for it 45 years. Wow. But it was the pain behind closed doors that started to increase. And 25 years later, I started seeing a decline in women's health. They weren't as vibrant as when I came into the field, and more broken, and things were starting to change. The weight gain that was, occurring, the hair thinning. So all these things, and, you just want to learn and learn. And so classes that I took up, health coaching, they once they opened the doors to the internal connection, that was just crazy to hear communication, then, just going into the menopause program with the menopause experts in the UK. That was incredible because it wasn't alive here as well as it is today, coming out more as classes, but the education, the learning, and really knowing what was happening to me all those years. But we don't know that. We walk right through it.
Yes. So that's an amazing journey, Lisa. I love what she said. And let's get into the menopause thing that you just mentioned. So what are actually the symptoms for those who are earlier in the stage of menopause? Can you please share with us what are the symptoms of being in that stage of menopause and how they can manage it in a balanced way or a healthier way?
Okay, so the first sign and signals, because right after pregnancies, usually, first we celebrate a menstrual cycle in a young girl, and then we go into their pregnancies, right? But then after that, we're left to figure it all out. And that's when a lot of hormonal changes are taking place, usually right by 30 years old. Things change in a woman. But we have never been taught to recognize these little signs and signals that the body's telling us with the weight gain, or you start getting restless, you can't sleep, there's emotional challenges that are happening. So with all these different hormone challenges that are happening, women, we've never recognized it, but it's been happening. And now when we can put it 2 and 2 together, so by 35 to 40, it's a real important time to prepare for all your baseline studies. You want to get a hormone panel because you want to, it's checking your gauges. Because if you start feeling like you missed something in your mind, like you wanted to say it, it's there, but you couldn't, little things, they're just small. All of a sudden you can't sleep well, right? Yeah. You're young still in your 30s, so you think you're, it's maybe because you partied or something, but it starts to affect you, but we just ignore it. And we have to stop doing that and listen. And then we walk in. So this is perimenopause now, where things are really going to change and shake you up. But as long as we can control that beginning, we learn how to walk more into this. Just like in your menstrual cycle, it trained us to emotionally be attached to, be aware when things are happening to us. We can be, we have the instinct like, hey, something's happening. Men don't have that instinct because they're not emotionally attached to themselves, because they only have 2 phases in life. We have 5. They have 2, just the puberty and at the end. And then even at the end, they're still going good because they have children, 80, so, but with menopausal, when you now after perimenopause, a lot of changes have happened. Now you're going to come into menopause, but you want to be prepared because you don't want to just hit menopause and be sick and have illnesses and all this coming into all that, because now you're having other changes that are happening. So this is how we're starting to steer the women to be more educated on this. Important nutrition, the sleep, the body movement, that with today's technology, we lose it, right? We go home, we go to work, we get back in the car, we go home, we sit down, but the movement, we lose that. So being active, I mean, we have to. These are so important. And especially, drinking water. But first, with menopause, it's not an age thing. And when you say that word, women and people they automatically default to it's old. Somebody, yes. And it's not. Women are 30 years old and they can have a hysterectomy full. So they're in menopause. So this is not an age thing, and it's not a disease. It's not an illness. It's a biological process that we're cleaning out of our bodies because we're emptying that cycle. We're not having children no more. We're closing it down so we can open up. I look at it like a house, like a vintage house, right? We're shutting it down and we're going to remodel. And we're going to bring new things in.
I love that.
So that we can live in our new home, right? I mean, that other one was like 35 years, right?
Yes.
We didn't change, and now we're going to change all that, empty it out. But we have to learn to stay in balance. That's the problem. By paying attention to these small things, going to talk to the doctor, having these little baseline studies done, make sure they get the mammogram before 40, make sure you hear about your hormonal panels, because if your estrogen's low, you're having achy joints or something like that, then you kind of know because it's estrogen, right? Or cholesterol, when that goes up, estrogen drops.
Earlier, you did mention about mental. I mean, the menopause affect everything in our daily life, but one of those is our emotion and mental. So how is that? Can we explore a little bit into that aspect and how menopause impact to our mental health, and is there any support system or lifestyle that could help improve that?
The biggest part and the main thing is looking at menopause as more of a beauty instead of fearing it, scaring our bodies in it. Menopause is a healing time. So things that happened to you in the past when you were young, trauma, all that stuff, it's going to surface. You know what I mean? Because it's time to come up, because it's got to come out so that we can replant ourselves and now grow into really who we really always wanted to be. But we had family, we had children, we had husbands, we had careers, we had all these things in the way. So by taking mental time, and as I was saying, the movement, by having that meditation, we do not learn how to relax ourselves. And actually, I just had, I on a podcast, and I was just speaking with a woman who actually, they're doing studies in the forestry out in Korea, because food is, the medicine that comes off the trees, it's called nature dosing. We need to learn how to we are spirit and connected to that earth. That's who we are, right? But we don't go regenerate. It's like we got to go sit on our charger. That's our charger out there. And we don't do that. We do everything else, but we miss recharging ourselves, emptying the mind, trying. People say it's so hard, I don't know how to shut it down. And that's why it's a practice and a discipline to focus. Because if you want to do that, if you really want it, you will find that peace. And vibrational sound bowls. I know you hear that music, right? So this is a new way and a new pathway of healing. Because when the body hears that, there's new rivers and pathways in the body that open up to start healing. They've never been opened. It's like new dams of water start to come in because we've never opened that because we didn't receive the vibrations. We don't do that. So there's a lot of things that we can work on, but the first things is being honest with yourself, seeing that these things are happening, we have to address them. And again, I was saying menopause is a healing time. And we can't heal that, then the rest of our journey will carry all that with us. Okay. And, it's just, thank you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're talking about families, you mentioned that, support, right? And relationships. So how about intimacy and relationships? We don't really talk about it, but how does one in menopause get by with, or even manage to talk about with their partners or with their family that they're going through menopause?
Well, so see, now that's another beautiful thing to really discuss, because the biggest problem we have is getting men involved. Through history, through centuries, they've always been scared of the sign of our blood. That's just been the way it's been. So that's why it was so hard to bring the conversations to them, because they feel sometimes like it's castration. They don't understand. It scares them more than open to receive. But with more education and talking and bringing them in, I mean, sometimes women are crying at home and he's standing there wanting to help, but he can't help her because she doesn't know what she's crying about. She doesn't know how to explain it to him. So without explaining it, how can anybody understand each other? So by educating, opening this up more to the men so that they can get involved, because we're all part of it. Everybody is connected to this, no matter what. They all have a mother, a daughter, a sister. There's a little girl growing up. And this is what leads me to the girl in the red. I am an author, and this is my first solo book where I'll be speaking, because I have to take women all the way back to the beginning of menstrual cycle. There's so much we don't know that we didn't know that these little girls are going to know now today from this book, the education I'm bringing them. There's parts of our body that I'm telling you, we don't even know that that's the name of it. And this is where the vaginal health comes in, because if we could be more in tune with that area, then instead of it's just a private area and we just don't talk. We have to be able to talk about it so that we can understand, because there's a lot of rejuvenation that can be done with women and things to do and reach for, but they have to understand. And again, so many women walk through this, and I know that vaginal dryness and issues are very, very painful. So that's why to not be so, they don't want to talk to the doctors. They don't know who to talk to. It's a very scary subject, but honestly, there's just so much help. There's so much good things that we can do out there. There's vaginal spas, herbal spas that you can go to. It's just an amazing thing. And bringing all this, when you have all that in you, to feel that healthy and good, that sex life is just going to be crazy good, just like it used to be. Because it's just really, I mean, you didn't know back then what to do with it. You know what I mean? So now you know a lot more, but now you have to be able to be ready to take these changes and understand them, nourish yourselves, and be ready to nourish the vaginal health issue also, because it's not an issue, it's a part of it. It's who we are, we need that, because there's illnesses that can exist, like headaches and certain things can be just because you're having a vaginal issue. So I understanding and learning more. And I love talking about that, because I talk about breast care, right? Women don't talk about a lot of breast. And so, but in those women behind closed doors in silent pain, that was a lot of the issue that was discussed. And that's why it was, wow, I'm in the pain with them. So by stepping out today, being retired, talking about this, bringing it out, I always promised them I would be that voice. I'm going to talk about this and make it loud. So thank you again for having me here.
Thank you, Lisa, for explaining this. And I know that the topic is sensitive. Not many women, especially Asian women, to open up and talk about that. And sort of funny thing is that when we hear the word menopause, the first thing come in is this is the women issue. Why men have no pause, meaning they don't stop. Only women that stop. Is that right? If you understand that word, men no pause.
Yes, men no pause. Yes, no,
men keep going. Only women that stop.
and see, and that's a thing that's how come we're so competitive and we're so good at it and trying to race to the top in the corporate world as we have, because we didn't even realize, because of the 5 phases of our life, that's why we kept dropping off. We kept getting up, and but men, they just have puberty and they just keep going.
Yes.
We have to fluctuate. You know what I mean? Because after you have a baby, now you go back to work, right? You got 6-7 weeks, but the body's got so much to heal. But you don't have time to heal it because you're not thinking what's taking place, and you're just working and working and working, and then we drop again. There's the next sign of perimenopause and all these issues, the hot flushes, things are happening, and then we get through that. when it's all over and we're out there, this is what's so beautiful about this next life is chasing that purpose and becoming that dynamic woman, because we have so much great stuff in us.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I noticed that with menopause, that a lot of women, it impacted their sleep. And having a good sleep is important for us to recharge. And a lot of women, they struggle, they have a hard time to fall into sleep. Do you know what causing is? And is there any advice or anything that you could help the women go through menopause, be able to sleep better?
Okay, so because of sleeping issues, there's always a reason for that issue. So that's first what we have to figure out. I mean, what time is it that you go to bed? Or what time is it that the Wi-Fi gets shut off, that the blue light's away from you? When do you put the phone away, at 11 o'clock at night? And now you just woke the brain up and said, hey, it's daylight. I want to be up. So, it's just a big stimulator. So that's one of the biggest problems. Next is the caffeine. Women drink a lot of caffeine, and matcha powders. Did you know matcha has more caffeine really than coffee? I was amazed.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. and it lingers longer than the caffeine of coffee. So here we're having a good time with the antioxidants and everything in a matcha powder, right? But it's that caffeine that's it's not as hard as a coffee caffeine, right? So it mellows us, but at the same time, it's stronger. And the caffeine, it lingers. So depending when was your last cup, then you have to remember it takes about 6 to 7 hours to come out of your body. So now you're trying to sleep at 3 a.m, you're waking back up, and these things are, there's a lot of different ways that we have to cleanse ourselves. Again, to relax ourselves and learn to discipline. And there's teas that we can relax ourselves, but people don't want to stop and make teas, I mean, just to go sit down. I mean, these are the things our body needs. And we're just trying to do something fast. But it's all about the relaxation. If we're not relaxing our mind and our body and doing the movements that we need to energize ourselves so that the energy can run down and then bring us into our relaxation state. So sleeping, yes, it's going to be a challenge because of all the hormones. They're all leaving. As I said, the house is vacant now. You have to rebuild. All that has to be put into what you want to look like when your bedroom is set up. The Wi-Fi going to be in there, the TV, the phone, so it's changing because you're changing. You're not who you were. You can't do what you did at 30 and 40. It's a big difference in life today and to carry on. And then 1 out of 7 women are going to live to be 100. So if you're 50 and you have 50 more years to live, you have to think and look beyond how is that going to look and how am I going to care? Is it going to be, and I related, 1967 Mustangs come out of the garage, right? And they still look great. And how could that? Because they took care of it. They nourished it. They did what they had to do, right? So how come we can't come out of the garage looking that good?
Right.
Nourish ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. You've been incredible during this time. Even in a short period of time, you're able to relate to us and share with us, what your knowledge about menopause. When I was growing up in my early 30s, I didn't understand what my mom was going through, and that was in the Philippines, and we were just so confused, and we were thinking, what is this going on? Why is she always irritable? Why is she always angry at us? So there's a lot of mood changes. So that was my mom. But when I reached my menopause age, so I didn't actually know that it went through me because I didn't experience the same kinds of symptoms. So, that is really strange to me. So I can't even say anything to my kids. So for those who are, confused or even going through the early stages of menopause, or even those who have been in menopause for a period of time already, what can you give them or share them some advices and encouragement so they can go through this phase, successful, or, that they're not as affected. So maybe you can give us some tips on that.
So being postmenopausal, a lot of women, again, because of the training and the thoughts and the way we think about this with no education and how to drive that new lane because there's nobody showing us. When it comes to that education, postmenopausal, menopause is over for one whole year. I mean, you finish your period, it's gone, it's done. The shop is closed down again. Now you're moving in that new house. Again, you're designing how it's going to look, and you want to keep it as healthy and clean and beautiful as you had the first house, right? How you started out and everything. Now this is the rebuilding and the repairing of you. You have to you're headed for progressive, optimal health. Every stage of life, the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, and the 60s, that's when you start building more muscle. You have to watch your calcium and increase. All these different things. Women think that after menopause is over, there's nothing else to do. We have to take care of our bone health. We have to take care of our heart health because that's a muscle, right? And again, not all the hormones are there doing this for us. So we have to. Our hair, our skin, all that stuff has to be nourished in a new way because not everything is there that we used to have in the old house to help us. We've got a modern house that doesn't have all that. We do it. It's just homegrown in us at this point. And that's what optimal health is all about. And stop thinking that after menopause, there's nothing else to do. There's a lot to do. Because I just told you, you may live another 50 years. I mean, you don't want to have heart problems and diabetes, and you have to learn to change and nourish the body in a new way. It's a new baby now. You've grown out of everything else. You got to start fresh with easier meals, things that are not so heavy when you're eating. It's all about nourishment, feeding your skin, feeding your hair, feeding, everything. Food is medicine. Food is really medicine because we don't want to be using medicine. We want to supplement. A lot of women don't take vitamins. They just don't. This earth and the food doesn't supply those minerals like it used to. That's why my women back in the 80s look so much better than how we started to decline now because they had a great environment. They grew up in a great environment. And now, as you see, ours is changing. So we have to plant that new garden to nourish ourselves with all the things I mentioned.
Thank you, Lisa. I mean, it's a very informative talk show today. I learned so much. And as women are going through this stage of life, having somebody to help us or provide some guidance and support, that means a lot because we can talk to, this is a sensitive topic. You don't want to talk to, some people are afraid to discuss that with their spouse, their partner, and even to the children so that they can understand what their mom or sister are going through.
Yes.
So we would love to have you talk more and more about this because there's so much topic to cover, including weight gain. A lot of people, oh my God, what happened to me? I was size 2, size 4, and now suddenly I'm double. So all of these things that women so conscious about, and it helps build confidence back. So we need Lisa to come and provide everything she needs to know to all of our audience on May 4 at the Women Health and Wellness event at Saigon Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your time today. And we're so delighted to have you in this talk show, sharing your insights about menopause. And of course, May 4th is a free event again, and we have prepared for you a lot of experts and demos and speakers that will be sharing with you anything about healthcare for women. So please come and join us, and it will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And on that day, beside the exciting topic that Lisa gonna be there, she gonna be on stage, talks to all the audience, but she also gonna have her booth there the whole day for you to come and have some private, personal consultation with Lisa. She bring her book too, so she can have biograph for all of you. And beside Lisa, we have other industry experts. We talk about, the other one is about, do you remember like some of the topic? Mammogram, we talk about the Juice Plus, we talk about the woman health check, and we have
Eating
like skin care. We have a talk about gray hair and how to, use a natural product to keep yourself young and healthy and live a happy life. So there's a lot of things that we cover on that day. And the thing is, we still have room for vendors who want to register for a booth, and also for speaker, there's a speaking opportunity for those who interesting. So for all the details, please go to our website at intwomencelebration.org, or you can call or text the number 602-621-5125.
Thank you so much, Lisa, again for your time, and we'll see you on May 4th.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me.
We're looking
Bye.
forward to see you, Lisa. Let's pack and go and have fun with all of us
Yes.
at the International Women's Celebration event.
Can I just say one more thing,
Sure,
Charmel? This
sure.
is just something that you were talking about that mother-daughter thing. It's in my book, and it's so important. This is a big conversation because the women, the young girls are being filled up with the hormones, and the mothers are being depleting. So this is a big way that we collide with each other because they're fully loaded and they're ready to go. And here we're on empty. We're
Yes.
not. And so we're not I could be fluctuating and she's just starting so I talk about that in the book because I want mothers and daughters to come together
Yes.
understanding it's a
Very
hormone
important.
difference.
It's like
It's
a
not
bonding
that-
time too.
I'm going
Yes,
through
it's
that
not-
phase.
And you know what, Lisa, thank you for brought it up because May 4 is that one weekend before Mother Day. It will be a great time for mother and daughter learn about this. So we encourage all the women out there, bring your daughter with you so she can learn
Exactly.
and she can meet with Lisa
Exactly.
and ask all the
Open
questions
up
that she
the
has.
cup. Open it up. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks. Thank
All
you.
right, well, to our audience, we want to say thank you for watching. We're looking forward to hear more feedback and input from you to help improve our talk show about women and everything: women health, women relationship, how to raise a family, and how to look good and be confident. Everything on this talk
Mai.
show.
Yes, we're excited to give you those information. So stay tuned with the International Women's Celebration Talk Show.
Thank you.